Hello, good day. So for today's lecture, we will study about merging and concatenating. So first, standard operating procedure, we import libraries of NumPy and Pandas. So I executed this one. So for our sample data, I have prepared a sets of dictionary to be converted to data frame. So I'll just copy this one. So for data 1, we have this. And for data 2, so we have this sets of values. So out of this dictionary, we will create two data frames for the example. So PD data frame, so data 1. So another one, df2, is PD dot data frame data 2. So shift enter. So let's take a look of our data frame. So df1, we have seven rows of data. So df2, we have 6 rows of data. So this is intentional. So one has 7 rows, one has 6 rows only. So if you're familiar with the inner join in a structured query language, this is also similar to that. So how do we do merging in data frame? So first, let's have the inner merging. So for example, I have here a value of merge df1. So how about merge? So you use pd merge. Then if you look at the documentation, it is requiring that you have a left data, the right, how you intend to join. The default is inner. Then I think the important parameter also here is on, how you will join and what specific column or entity will join. So for example, we have here df1, we want to merge to df2. Then how? So first we'll explore the inner, then on. So we will merge in terms of student ID. So this one is the result of the merge. So as you can see, the data frames are combined. So as you can see here, so this data frame ends with grades. Then as you can see here, school is being merged. But to what basis? So the basis here are the student ID. So as you can see, one data is missing here because Johnny, which is student 007, is not existing on the second data frame. So inner join is very strict. If you merge in terms of student ID and one entity is missing on the other one, so it will not be displayed. So another one is you can also use the left. So you can also use the left. So I will just copy this one. So copy. How about this one? So we are merging, for example, left, but still on student ID. Okay, so again, these are just optional. If you want left, it's fine. If you want right, but if you do not want, this is also perfectly fine. So how about left join? So when you're using left join, so our priority is the first one. This one is, remember, this is left, the first parameter. So since there are no assigned school for S007, as you can see, there are no S007 in data frame 2. So it will be assigned as NAN. So another related to that is we use the right. For example, so let's change this to right. So what is the result of this one? So the result of this one is much like the inner join. So it prioritizes the join in terms of right. Remember, this is left and this is right. So under df2, so these are df2. Only the schools with student ID of from 001 006 will be displayed. So that's why it's only from 01 to 006. So we are joining on student ID, and how is right. If you're familiar again with SQL, this is a right join. So also we have outer join. So let's modify this one. So we have outer join. So shift enter. So much like the same. So outer join, you have one data is missing on the existing, for example, right. So it will result to displaying in NAN. So those are the merge. So in terms of concatenation, so let me delete this one. So in terms of concatenating data frames, we will use the PD concat. So for example, I have here another data frame, which is df3. So out of this dictionary, we are creating another data frame. So now we have 3 data frames. So let me review. We have 3 data frames here. So we have df1. So we have df2. Then we have df3. So the way concatenating works is just to concatenate a data frame without the basis of how to join. So these are very useful if you are constructing your data sets. So for example, I have here df concat. I'm assigning it to another data frame. So equals, you use the PD concat. So as you can see for the documentation, so we have here union of iterable data frame or series. So you can join data frame to series or series to series. Then you specify what to concatenate. For example, we have df1. How about we join concatenate df3? Okay, if you do this one, so let us see the result. So for example, we have df concat. So the the concatenation is strange. So why? So in terms of this one, we concatenate this in terms of row, which is not the way we want to do it. So we want to concatenate this one in terms of column. So remember that this has a specific axis. So 0 for row. If you did not provide this one, it will default to row. Then if you provide axis 1, this will default to column. So for example, so this is the way we want to concatenate specific data frames. So what if we want to concatenate all of our data frames? So for example, so let me copy this one. So what if we want to concatenate all our data frames? So for example, we have df2. So the result will be this one. So df concat. Let me display it now. So as you can see, so from df1 up to the grades, these are df1. So to make it clear, let me annotate. So these are df1. So from student ID up to the grades. So this is df1. Okay, so this is df1. So from student ID to school. Okay, so this one is df2. Then the residence will be our df3. So we're just concatenating this one in terms of column. Remember, axis 1 is column. So what are the methods that we can use here? Because as you can see, we have here a duplicate ID. So What if we want to remove this one? So remember, we can drop this one, but so if you use dropping, so let us clean this one, because there are duplicate columns of student ID. We want to remove this one. So let's create, for example, our final data sets. So if you do this one, for example, so df concat dot drop. Remember, we can drop column. So student ID. Then we can drop in terms of axis. So this one is df concat. So the problem here is that we drop both student ID. So that's not the goal. The goal here is to either drop this one with an AN value for Johnny. So how you are supposed to do that? Where there's a method for that. So I will teach you how. So removing duplicate, in terms you encounter these problems, so you can do this. So removing duplicate column names in case you need to remove one. So this is a one-liner technique. So df concat, so you use the LOC. But first, let me introduce this one. So if you have a df concat, that's our data frame. So you use the column properties. Then it has a method of duplicated. So the result of this one, as you can see, the duplicated value is the true. So this one is student ID, as you can see here. So let me display the data frame so that it will be clear. Actually, I have no df, so this is df concat. So as you can see, let me annotate this one. As you can see, our duplicated value is the one student ID. So this is false, not duplicate, not duplicate, not duplicate. So not duplicate, but this one is the duplication. So not duplicate, so not duplicate. So the technique here is to flip the values, so that flip the boolean values, I mean, so that we can remove this one using the LOC. So these are probably the shortest technique. So what you can do is this one. So df, for example, we have concat, so that you use the LOC. Okay, or what I mean is to flip this one. So for example, I will flip this one. So use the tilde. So false, 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 false. We're expecting to flip these values first. So let me explain this one. Okay, so this is true, true, true. Then this one is false, the student ID. So you use this one with LOC function. So dot LOC. So remember our indexing. So df. So I want all the rows, but if there are duplicate column values, please remove that one. So that is a df concat. So for example, I will execute this one. So I will delete this one. So as you can see, so we have student ID, student, section, grade, school, and residence. No more duplication in terms of this one. So these are our df concat. So if I execute this one again, for example, df.concat, this is not a permanent change. So maybe you can assign this to another variable if you want to remove the student ID, but I will not do this one here. So this is df concat. So we remove the duplicated value of student ID. Or another approach, so we use the merge and the concat. So for example, so other approach, if you want to construct the final data set, for example, so other approach in constructing the data set, so you can merge first, then can do concat. So let me show you some example. So for example, we merge first. So remember pd dot merge. So we have df1, so df2 on. So first we merge in terms of student ID. Then how? If you want to show all the data, for example, because Johnny has an a and n value, so we will use left. If you want to retain Johnny, so you use the left. Then df merge to show the data frame. So this one. So we merge first. So then we can concat. So if you want the final data set, for example, you're constructing the final data set. So df data set. So you can use pd dot concat. So you use our variable of df merge. Then you concatenate with df3 on the basis of column concatenation. So these are our df data set. So the final construction. So this one is useful when you have different sources of data. For example, you have spreadsheets of data which are related in terms of this one. So if you will analyze this data, you can also do this one to remove the none. Again, you can drop it or you can fill it out. So the method depends on you, on what will you use. So in summary, for this lecture, we have learned to merge data. Remember, merging data has a specific key values on when to merge. So we merge here in terms of student ID. It has inner, it has a left, it has a right, how property, and we have outer. So let me edit this one. This is not right. So this is outer. Then we also learned to concatenate data frames. So concatenating data frames has no basis on when to merge. It's just strictly concatenate the data. Okay. So these are very useful if you are constructing the final data set in order for you to analyze the data. So more on that on the next lecture, the exploratory data analysis. So for the next lecture, so we will discuss some pandas operation. So thank you very much and see you in the next lecture.